Hi and welcome to this video introducing LiquidFiles version 3.6. So we're going to look at some of the differences between LiquidFiles version 3.6 and 3.5. And the first thing we want to show is the difference in the look. So we have updated the user interface library that creates all the buttons and menu bars and drop downs and everything like that. So the new version meets more accessibility standards and is the current version. The old version was end of support, so we needed to update anyway. So we can see, just looking at this LiquidFiles version 3.5 system, that there's just slight differences in the look. So we can see specifically the differences in colors are more pronounced for accessibility reasons. So that's one of the things you can easily see. But the base functionality is the same. So logging into both of these systems. And we can see again that the base functionality is close to identical, and we can see the green here is a little bit different. It's more pronounced here. These colors down here are more pronounced than these ones. So, but the base functionality is the same. We have also updated some pages. So say the system networking page in the 3.5 system. System networking. We now use these the interface functions from this is pretty old table-based design, and this is the new standard that we support. So this is all works fine when we're making these changes on a phone or a tablet or something like that. Whereas this old version doesn't really work that well. Pages start to scroll and so on. The next thing I wanted to talk about is local domains. So local domains is a new feature which we use to more simply distinguish between local and external users. So local users are all users that belong to your local domains. So you can add as many as you want. So all your company domains are considered local. And anyone who does not belong to any of these domains are considered external users. So we use this, for instance, when someone registers on the front page of LiquidFiles and create a new account. If they belong to any of the local domains, we would consider them local users, and anyone who does not belong to any of the local domains, we will consider external users. Moving on to external users. So in over the last few major releases, we've had a few different methods of authenticating external users. So these are users with no accounts on the LiquidFiles system. And we used to have a system almost identical to the secure token system, which uses short-lived tokens where users will get an extra email to authenticate themselves, and we'll show that in a second. And we got quite a few actually requests to make this simpler. So we came up with a couple of things and ended up with these temporary users, which are have a longer lifespan, so on default a week. We can 640 seconds, so 1,000 seconds, so a week's lifetime. And then we started getting requests along the lines of, how is this more secure? And it isn't. It is more convenient. So we typically try not to add too many options in things like this. And in this case, we deemed that it was probably the best to add the two options. So now with 3.6 and hopefully moving forward for a long time, that we won't change this, and you will have the option of either selecting the more secure token method, or the more convenient temporary users method, and you can select which one is more appropriate for you. So secure token is the new default. So when you're updating, the system will default to secure token authentication, and you can select to use temporary users instead if you want to. We have also updated the external user account registration, and this is only for external users. So we can, before it was either in a binary, either you require users to create accounts or you don't, and now we have more options. So you can still require all external users to create accounts, and the reason why you want to do that is if you want to add additional security methods like two-factor authentication that requires accounts, so then we can require them to do that, or we can require them not to have any accounts, so we don't have to deal with any local accounts for remote users or external users. And then we have these two new options in between where we can enable registration. So if someone you have external users that keep using your LiquidFiles system, and they think that either of these are cumbersome to use over and over again, you can enable registration and either default to create account, or default to create account, or default to not create account. So look at these documentation for more information about this. All right, so we have our secure token, and let's see how this works. So we're sending a message to user external.com test, and we'll make this a private message, so we don't have to add any files, and we're sending this message. So we can have a look at the email sent. So we just got an email from support at LiquidFiles to user at external, and we got this message. We got this email that we can click on. Now, before we do this, let's log out the user. Otherwise, we'll already be logged in. So we're now logged out from this system. So we can copy this link. And we can authenticate that user at external.com. And we get this, validate your email. And we have now received another email to ask us to validate. We can click on this link, or we can just copy this token. And here we see the create account. So we now have, in this instance, we have the option of creating account is a default to disabled. If it was default enabled, this checkbox would have been enabled on default, but in this case it's not. In this case we're choosing not to create an account. We just click verify, and we'll take into the message. So this is the secure token method where we receive this short-lived token, and this is only valid for 15 minutes on default. And here's the read notification. This application, by the way, is a sort of a development tool which just captures all emails that's going in and out of this system. Moving on to SMS, two-factor authentication. So we've had this option of having a simple method of using just basic HTTP GET requests to send tokens, and there's quite a few SMS providers that requires something that's more involved than that. So starting with version 3.6, we've now added action scripts as a delivery method. So you can write your own, or we have added a couple. So this is in the documentation for LiquidFiles. If you look in action scripts, SMS delivery, we have ClickSend and Twilio as additional action scripts that you can add and tweak as a starting point. We'll just use this one as an example. Copy this and add this as an action script. So we call this click send SMS. You would normally have to fill in authentication stuff, but we won't actually use this now, just to show in the interface how it will work. So we've added this action script, and now we can select to use this action script. So whenever an SMS would be delivered, it will use this script to deliver this SMS. So now you can tweak this and configure for much more in-depth. So in this case, we're using a post. In the Twilio example, they have an even more involved method of doing it. So whatever you need to do now, you should be able to write the script that matches your SMS provider. The final thing that I wanted to show as part of this update is bulk edit. So it's fairly common that we get requests along the lines of how can we update our emails. So we used to be called liquidftest.com, and we want to move this to ftest2.com. So we have a from this domain to this domain, and using this bulk update tool that we now created, you can just update all users with this domain to have this domain instead. So this will make it a lot easier if you're changing domain name, or your company gets bought, or you buy another company or anything like that. You can quickly make changes to the domain of your users. So that concludes the LiquidFiles version 3.6 update. Hope you will enjoy. See you soon for more videos. Bye.